what are the top 5 ways to increase an Amazon conversion rate?
So the first and foremost thing is make sure your listing's optimized. I mean, this is kind of, everybody has heard this 50 million times, but it's worth repeating. Good content, good images, spend the extra money on images because it's going to be what makes you add or remove. It's really going to be what makes you stand out is having an optimized listing. This is how I kind of analyze this or use an analogy for is back when you used to go to Dillard's or the mall or anything, before you picked up or purchased a product, you could pick it up and hold it and feel it, right? You can't do that anymore online. And that's where the big pivot is. So what you want to do with your image listings is really optimize them to the highest level so people can almost feel it virtually as much as possible. If it was a Steinbeck novel, you'd say, I can smell it. That's the type of literature you have. So you want to do the same thing with your listings. Make it as close to somebody picking it up and touching as possible. There's also obviously the brand story that helps with a variety of different things for cross-sell and upsell for your catalog. A lot of people aren't leveraging the brand story as of yet. And then there's obviously optimized Amazon A+ or ECB content. The other thing, this is just kind of rolled out pretty recently, is if you have A+ content on 15 different listings and it's varied a bunch, you can actually apply for premium A+ content, and that means you get video featured in your A+ content and some other things. Or if you go through the Launchpad capability. So those are all the type of things of really how do you build out what you're doing on your platform on that listing, and then really focusing on that kind of conversion rate from a standpoint of when people fall there or land there. The next thing that you can really do for increasing your conversion rate is advertise on the right words that are relevant to your listing. One thing that we do, people don't talk about that. It's just all traffic is equal, right? But if I'm selling yoga mats and people are coming there for fireman helmets, I'm probably not going to sell a whole bunch of yoga mats, right? So one thing that we do through our process is we analyze all the data when we're kind of managing the pay-per-click campaigns through the growth-driven advertising line, and we find out what's actually converting for you, and then we update your listings based on that content so you'll rank more organically, and we'll really lean into those keywords, right? So that's the other thing, is what type of traffic are you driving? How are you driving it? So it's not, again, kind of going back to that holistic model. It's not just the listing, that's like, hey, I'm going and I'm eating right? And then your ad spend is working out, right? So if you're working out a ton and you're eating pizza every day, you're not going to lose weight or get healthy. And if you're eating right, but you're never working out, well, you're not going to hit the ultimate sales that you can do on that side either, right? So that's the way that I kind of like to look at it. We do some things with Amazon DSP, and then we can kind of get into some multi-channel things later. Cool. But listing optimization, how you're driving traffic into there, really looking at that. And then split testing is another key thing. And I have some stats for doing split testing. Split testing was rolled out on Amazon, I'd say about 6 months ago or so. And it's actually, if you have brand registry, then you can actually get access through your brand on the back end of seller. And then you can start running split tests. And it's pretty impressive with what you can do.
I want to back up a little bit before we get into split testing, because I think split testing is a whole other deep conversation too. So you had mentioned, so this podcast is going to air, like I said, probably in January. And so if you're listening to this, Ryan just spit out a bunch of gold nuggets on, hey, start the year right, go and do an audit on your listing, make sure you have all this stuff dialed in, and if you don't have it even created, just get something created. And I wanted to ask you about the, is it premium EBC? I remember seeing that we had applied for one of our brands on there and it got approved, but we haven't uploaded anything to it yet. So you're saying that the premium one, you can put a video inside the EBC?
Yeah, you get a few more modules. So like typically you're limited to 5. And don't quote me on this. I think you get 7. So you get 2 more modules. And you also can put video in there, right? And video, Amazon's leaning heavy into video. if we see any indication of what's working in social media channels and just kind of brand in general, video is God,
Yeah.
user generated content in particular. So Amazon's realizing this. They say, hey, if we have more video on here, how do we can actually increase our conversion rates more, and then we can make more money ourselves. So how do we do that? So that's why they're slowly kind of rolling this out.
Gotcha. Yeah, that it makes sense. And I think it's kind of interesting how Amazon they only allow, at least for now. I've heard whispers that they're going to start charging for EBC and things like that, but for now it's free. And for now it's free. Use it. But the piece where I think it was 15 approved EBCs or something to unlock it, and so they're kind of trying to incentivize sellers to utilize EBC because they know it's going to convert better, and then they're giving you a kind of a bonus if you're doing that at a high level. So,
which is the irony too, because what we see with a lot of the partners that we work with is, I call it the Pareto principle on steroids. The Pareto principle being like 20% makes 80% of your revenue. On Amazon, we typically see that it's 2% makes 98% of your revenue. Right.
yeah,
So like if you're a seller that's making 100,000 to $1 million, sometimes that's 2 listings that are making 100,000 to the million. Right.
right.
And you got 10 other ones that are doing 30,000 a year or something like that. Right. So how do you, when you got the winners and the winners, how do you take the time and the logic, particularly because Amazon's getting more competitive, to make sure that they continue to win and you own that like top 3 organic position or whatnot?